I'm from the East Coast. I'm used to the city vibe. Grew up in the city, still live in the city. Now, the San Francisco Bay Area, to be more exact. I consider myself a tough cookie, but what happened one night, 2 weeks ago, humbled my tough girl exterior. It was a typical night in the Bay, the city lights painting the skyline in a dazzling array of colors. I was walking home alone, pods in ear, lost in my own world of music and thoughts. The streets were familiar, the sounds blending into the background as I made my way through the busy city. Alert and aware, but vibing to my jams, I turned onto a dimly lit side street. An unsettling feeling washed over me. It was as if the shadows themselves were watching, lurking in the corners, waiting to pounce. I shook off the feeling, chalking it up to my overactive imagination, and quickened my pace. Suddenly, a noise behind me made me jump, my heart pounding in my chest. I whipped around, but there was nothing there, just empty streets and looming buildings. I laughed nervously, berating myself for letting my mind play tricks on me. I sped up, taking out my pods, because I was shook. And then I heard another sound, a soft whisper, barely audible above the distant hum of traffic. I froze, my blood running cold, as the fine curly kinks on the back of my neck stood on end. I scanned the shadows, but there was no one in sight. I desperately tried to shake off the overwhelming feeling of anxiety that settled over me like a fog, but it only grew stronger with each step I took. I walked even faster, eager to escape the oppressive silence and faint whispers of the night. Just as I reached the safety of my building, it happened. A figure stepped out of the shadows, its eyes gleaming with malice. I screamed, my heart racing as I stumbled backward, my hands shaking uncontrollably. But as I peered closer, I realized it was just a trick of the light, a figment of my too-hype imagination. I giggled a little, chiding myself for letting my fears get the best of me. I unlocked my door, and a chill ran throughout my body when I heard another whisper. I whirled around, but the street was empty, the shadows swallowing me whole. And in that moment, I knew I was not alone. Something lurked in the darkness, waiting to claim me as its own. After stumbling over my feet into the safety of my apartment, hella scared, I still held the foreboding feeling that the shadows were watching me, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. I locked the door and told myself it was only exhaustion after a busy week that was causing hallucinations. I took a shower, did some deep breathing. I poured a glass of red and settled onto the couch. The eerie feeling of being watched still lingered a little. I tried to distract myself with an episode of Black Mirror, but every creak of the floorboards and slight rustle of the curtains sent shivers down my spine. Then, just as I began to relax, almost engrossed in the episode, nodding my head to old school beats played in a virtual 80s nightclub, I heard it, a soft tapping at the window. I froze, my eyes widening in terror as I stared at the curtains, willing them not to move. But the tapping persisted, growing louder and more insistent with each passing moment. With trembling hands, I paused the TV and mustered the courage to approach the window and look outside. What I saw made my blood run cold. A figure stood in the darkness, its red, glaring eyes fixed on me with an intensity that sent chills down my spine. It was the same figure from the street, the one I had convinced myself was just a trick of the light. I stumbled backward, my heart pounding in my chest, as the figure raised a hand and pressed it against the glass. Its thin gray lips parted into a bone-chilling smile, and then it whispered in a coarse voice,
"Open the window. Let me in."
I screamed, backing away as terror consumed me. My eyes instantly settled onto my knife holder on the kitchen countertop. I fumbled for my phone, fingers shaking as I dialed 911. When I looked back at the window, the figure was gone, leaving behind only the echo of its haunting words. The police arrived and searched the area. They found no sign of the mysterious figure. They assured me that it was probably just a prank, but I knew the truth. The shadows of the night held secrets far darker than I had ever imagined, and I had come face to face with something that defied explanation. From that night on, I haven't felt truly safe in my own home. The memory of the figure at the window haunts my dreams, and the whispers of that night echo in my ears. And as I lay awake tonight, listening to the soft tapping at the window, I have to wonder, what is out there, lurking in the shadows, just waiting to get me?